Well, hi guys, welcome to this Moneycontrol live stream on a beautiful Saturday morning. Of course, I'm Nandita Khemka and you're watching Opening Bell with me and my colleague Stacey Pereira. And as I mentioned, it's a special Saturday given the fact that we are working. We will have a trading session of 2 hours today. Of course, the NSE is checking, what do you call it, the efficacy. On that note, let me bring on board our technical expert for today, Rohan Shah, who's the technical analyst at Religare Broking, joining in. Great to have you on the show, Rohan. First of all, do you expect the volumes to be low today, given the fact that it is a special trading session? Would you advise traders to avoid aggressive bets, given the fact that, it is a test session, so to say, to switch to the disaster recovery side from the primary side?
Yeah. Good morning, Nandita, and again, thank you again for inviting for me the show. So yes, definitely, it's a 2 hour session. So of course, the volatility will be low. It will be lackluster, like we see in the Mura trading as well. So definitely, for intraday or for this session, staying like would be a prudent idea. But for a positional point of view, the view remain bullish, and we expect that the upward momentum to continue ahead. To just add, in Nifty, we are eyeing 22,800, 23,000 levels in the coming sessions to come. So after a strong comeback in the last session and Nifty reclaiming its all-time high levels, taking a support at 20 days exponential moving average. So we believe 22,800 is the next level to watch out for. The positive point to note out for in the last session was the contribution from the private banking majors, which has been laggard and you can say underperforming from last couple of weeks or sessions. So we believe Nifty Private Bank could drive the next leg of up move in the Nifty. So why we feel so is that if you look at the Nifty Private Bank price chart or absolute chart, on the daily chart, it is making an attempt to give a breakout from an inverse head and shoulder pattern. And at the same time, if we look at the relative chart or the ratio chart of Nifty Private Bank divided by Nifty, it has dropped to like a year low cycle and has been reverting from there. So following the price action or absolute chart and the relative chart, this makes us feel that the next leg of up move in the Nifty Private Bank will help up to Nifty to inch higher towards our target of 22,800 and 23,008 or 23,000 levels. And on the downside, 21,900 is a very crucial support for the Nifty. So any long trades, we are advising our clients to keep a stop loss or on a closing basis below 21,900.
Right. Rohan, it's also Stacey on this side. Actually, you did mention how you're looking forward to the private banking space really pushing up this rally, and we've seen some bit of underperformance so far, but also give us some perspective on the PSU side of things, because, those valuations also people would say now have been quite stretched, although they don't compare to what the private banks have seen. So where do you see that, between the private and PSU banks, where would you then take your bet?
So yeah, again, good morning. So comparing PSU and private bank, PSU bank in terms of risk reward is not much favorable. But yeah, two or three stocks are our top picks. That is, of course, first SBI, Can Bank, and Bank of Baroda. But any traders who is like focusing on risk to reward perspective, that at this point of time, private banks are looking more lucrative compared to Nifty PSU bank. So going forward, we are more focusing on private banks and taking a backseat in the PSU banks overall.
Rohan, pertaining to the special trading session, any chances of executed trades getting cancelled in the second part of the session? Should traders ready themselves for that as well? And secondly, what would your strategy be for today, FNO strategy?
So like again, it's a very totally a new session. So anything can happen. I'm not sure how it will pan out. So to be risk averse or like it's better to stay light as it's a very 2 hour session and it has been like you can say an experimental session. So it is also a very important session to be like keeping the investors wealth on a not on risky side. So it's a 2 hour session. We are also advising client to stay light and we are utilizing a buy on dip strategy in the Nifty. So any dip towards support zone of 22,200, it can be a good buying opportunity for the Nifty, and on the higher side 22,350, 400 in the intraday side we can expect on the momentum.
Right. Rohan, anything on the auto pack, because we've seen them quite rally in the past few sessions at least, and yesterday we saw some data coming out there also which would lend support. So any top picks there that you would suggest from the auto names?
We are also focusing on the auto space. Tata Motors in a one stock, which is a breakout candidate, and we are expecting to like 5 to 7% up move in this counter. And one more is like a pullback candidate, that is Aisha Motor, which has also we have been tracking from last couple of weeks and currently trading at a very crucial support and offering a good risk reward opportunity in Aisha Motors. So Aisha Motor is a pullback candidate, but with a good risk reward opportunity. So these are the two picks in the auto space, that is Tata Motors and Aisha Motors.
Rohan, we saw a very stellar move coming in on the metal pack yesterday. Although I was, looking for the trigger, couldn't find one. But particularly for the charts of Hindalco, after the drubbing that it has seen in recent days, do you think much of the selling is over? What are the charts really saying? Is it in the oversold zone? And whatever attempt it made at recovery yesterday, a 3 to 4% kind of up move coming in there. Do you think there is more to that, and it could find higher levels on the charts?
Yeah, totally agree. Like if you look at the metal space on the higher time frame chart, this was like a move from a support zone, forming a higher and higher lows. So definitely a good recovery from the metal space. And Hindalco 500 was a very strong support for the Hindalco, and the good part is it managed to hold that support. So yes, we can see some recovery. In the metal space, we have two stocks which can do well. Of course, the first one is Jindal Steel, which in this space we are expecting a 5 to 7% in next 1 to 2 weeks. And the second stock is Tata Steel. Tata Steel looks good for positional as well as for the short-term trade. So any investor or any positional bet, you can hold the stock for 2 3 months. So Tata Steel is a one stock which looks very good on the chart, on the daily chart as well as on the weekly chart. To just give you a glimpse about the chart of the Tata Steel, the Tata Steel has given a breakout from a volatility contraction pattern, which has very high success ratio in terms of unfolding well on the charts. So this is our high conviction bet that Tata Steel should do well in the coming 2 to 3 months. So from a positional point of view, we are betting on Tata Steel, and traders who are very short term perspective can move to the Jindal Steel.
Right. With that, I think we've just about 20 odd seconds to go for the market.
Get back to our guests, in fact, and ask them how they are looking at it. Rohan, these are the levels that you were looking at for the Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty. That one also, getting into that above 47,000 levels. So are these levels what you were expecting in this special session?
So yes, it was expected that the Nifty would open on a higher side, it was reflecting in the Nifty Gift Nifty. So yes, but the point is, as we move forward, I think we cannot see much volatility, much higher side. It would be a lackluster in a being volatile in a defined range, sort of like 100 points in the defined range in the Nifty and 200 to 50 points the Bank Nifty. So today, of course, it's a very small session, so we cannot expect much in the Nifty and Bank Nifty. But yeah, it's better to stay light and position more on the positional perspective, that is next week.
Well, let me also add it to the BSE Mid Cap Index. You also have Container Corp, Emphasis, as well as Voltas, which have now been excluded from that BSE Mid Cap Index. So, of course, this rejig, we did see NSE also come out with that their set of rejig that they will be putting in place come the end of this month. But what are the kind of inflows that we will see in these certain stocks that have come out and come in? In the NSE, we did see UPL be excluded, whereas Shriram Finance getting its place in the Nifty 50. Now, these names here for the BSE as well. So, maybe Rohan can tell us, what are the kind of inflows and how are we to be trading in these stocks now once they will be included into these indices?
So yeah, just talking specifically about Geo Financials, it has rallied a bit. But if you look at the overall chart, of course, the data is not much available on the chart, but the data we have available, it's showing a very good formation on the chart side. And it has been holding a short-term moving average. Trend is positive on short-term and medium-term chart. So yes, it's a buy and dip candidate. To specifically talk about Geo Finance, any dip towards 310, 305 can be a good buying opportunity again. The stop loss can be placed below 290, and the higher side, the targets we are expecting it's 340 and 345 again on the very short-term period of time. But any investor who has a time horizon of like 3 to 6 months or 8 months, definitely this is a very good stock. In technicals, there is a pattern called IPO based breakout. So this is one very beautiful example we can talk about. So overall, looking at the chart pattern and price action, so yes, in short term as well as on the positional front, this stock definitely good slow good.
Right. In fact, Anirudh,
All right, Rohan, coming to you now, private banks, we saw good traction yesterday after, days of underperformance. But today, once again, they are in the red as we speak. The likes of ICICI Bank, Axis Bank, Kotak Bank, all of these names have, come under profit booking. Would you advise traders to, buy on dips? What would be a trade for you in terms of some of these private sector banks, banking stocks?
So as we discussed in the earlier session that we are expecting a good up move in the private sector bank, and the dip in today's session I believe can be a good buying opportunity. We are bullish on the three private banks. The first one of course is Axis Bank. It's currently quoting around 102. It's 1096. So this is a good level for trading as well. And the stop loss can be placed below 1075. And on the higher side, we are expecting at least 1150 to 1175 in the coming session. And the two stocks which we are focusing on is ICICI Bank. And apart from it, pullback candidate again, that is HDFC Bank. On the technical front, if you look at the daily chart or the long-term charts, on the daily chart, we are seeing an attempt of formation of inverse head and shoulder pattern right at a very strong support area on the weekly chart. So these are the three candidates from the private bank which should be kept on radar for having a time horizon of at least 2 to 4 weeks.
right. Well, let's also address a couple of stocks and news. One that will be in focus, of course, will be Paytm. This after the Financial Intelligence Unit of the Finance Ministry has gone ahead and imposed a 5.49 crore rupee penalty on Paytm Payments Bank. This under the PMLA law. Now, the FIU finds discrepancies in the operations. They've gone on to say that the bank has engaged in illegal acts, including organizing and facilitating online gambling. Now, approved discontinuation of several intercompany agreements with Paytm Payments Bank has also been put in place, whereas Paytm has gone on to cut ties with Paytm Payments Bank by ending those intercompany pacts. But if you talk about Paytm, and today, given this special session, there is that 5% cap that is put, or the circuit limit, and if you can see on your screens, it is again, it has been trading on those levels. It's been seeing those upper and lower circuit swings for the past few weeks, in fact. So maybe Rohan, you can take this again and tell us how should one be looking at Paytm, and whether it should be a waited out strategy for this particular stock.
So the best strategy I believe in Paytm is should avoid the counter, because as we know that there are a couple of reasons the stock has been declining from the past, and always it has been in the limelight. Any new day we are seeing some sort of news coming in Paytm, be it be negative, positive. So for trader, as in, it should be a good strategy to avoid as of now, because placing the stop loss would also be difficult in this counter, as we are seeing, as you rightly said that in the last also we have seen a couple of circuits in the stock. So in this scenario, it would be also difficult for a trader to maintain the stop loss. So I think the good strategy would be to avoid as of now and look for a stable counter, or in this counter, wait for at least some stability, some base formation. And of course, there should not be any further news in Paytm. So that would drive the lesser low volatility in the stock.
Right, Rohan, getting your thoughts in on two stocks, CG Power and Tata Investment. Of course, on the back of the nod to set up semiconductor plants, these two stocks saw a very good run up yesterday as well. Tata Investment and CG Power, double-digit up move coming in on both the counters in yesterday's session. Do you spot a trade in any of these counters?
looking at the CGJ Power chart on the weekly time frame, the stock has made an attempt to, give a breakout of its previous resistance zone, but unfortunately, it has closed below the same. So as of now, it is not a prudent idea to create fresh position. Wait for a dip towards 450, 440 zone. At this point of time, it's better to avoid. Wait for a dip where we can see a favorable risk reward. So any trader looking for this stock to trade, wait for a dip towards 450, 455 zone, and the stop loss can be placed below 440. And again, on the higher side, the first resistance comes at 465 and then 480.
All right, Anirudh.
Interesting to see how this special trading also pans out, and I'd like to thank my guests, both Anirudh Garg as well as Rohan Shah, for joining us this Saturday morning and giving us this stocks and strategies that one could be looking out for, not just for today's session, but also in the long run. And whether this rally is going to continue, that is something that everyone will be keeping an eye out for. We will be coming back for the closing session as well, but for now we'll be taking a short
Goodbye from me and Stacey. Thanks a lot for tuning in, but you guys stay tuned for all your other news and updates on Money Control.